Hi, hello and welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video, part 4 in this Soulstone Survivors demo already. If a demo of a game, the small, free-to-play version can already get 4 episodes out of me, you can bet your sweet ass that it's a nice game. As promised, we're playing the Houndmaster today. We had some good runs with the Barbarian. Look at him petting his dog right there. We had some good runs with the Barbarian, but we have to switch it up at some point, right? Now that we completed the first map, we're gonna go into the second map today as well. He is less tanky, he does do more damage, he is slow, and I get extra health per crystal. I'm not sure what crystal means. Maybe those are the green crystals. And here we will get gold and topaz, and then in the next map we will get iron and emerald. To upgrade the weapon of this character, we need both emeralds and topaz, so we're gonna have to complete both maps first before we could actually get the upgrade. The Caves of Dal Zok, let's get straight into it. This is my first time playing on the second map. I haven't played off camera or anything, and I start off with 3 little dog buddies. I immediately notice that the first attack that I have, the mortar shot, fires at the space I am pointing my mouse. So that's gonna switch up the gameplay a lot already. With the Barbarian, you normally start with Whirlwind, and that just happens around you. You don't have any control about where on the map it really happens. Unless, of course, you count walking somewhere as being in control of where your attack happens. But here, we have freedom. Well, the range is not infinite, right? So it's kind of in a small circle around us. He does immediately also start with an increase in area modifier, and I can't help but notice that indeed our explosions from this mortar shot are pretty large. Does it happen at the same range all the time? No, I think we can kind of control the range a little bit also, and my hounds are just also dealing a bunch of damage already. Cool, so the first map was kind of a desert vibe, a bit of sand, a bit of pyramid Egypt type action, and now it seems like we are in a cave, which is exactly what the name of the map was, right? Well, there we go, that's new. An epic power that gives me even more dashes, but I already have 2 right now. So I think 2 is gonna be enough, right? Because, I mean, 2 dashes, that's quite crazy. Oh, and they are signified by the little icons below our hero. Full disclosure, I most of the time forget to use my dashes either way, so whether there's 2 or 3 for me to forget, I don't think it's gonna make the biggest difference. I wish that we were able to diminish the range on our attacks a bit more, because we always have to fire it a bit out from us, it seems like. And well, if that's the case, then the dashes might actually be very beneficial, because we can move away from the enemies like this that are chasing us, just to make sure that we are in the right range. Considering we already started out with the hounds, I think I want to try my hands on another minion build. Because, I mean, I can only assume, but I think that's definitely going to be the case, but I can only assume that all of our powering up allies' abilities will also work on those hounds, right? Then again, it is interesting that they give this hero area modifier when they also kind of incentivize you to go a minion build, because, I mean, minions and area, that doesn't fit quite nicely together. We don't necessarily want any of this, but you know what? Let's try and mix some shadow in there, maybe, if we can. Minions, shadows, buffing our minions. We're going multiple templates right now. Am I correct in my assumption that when I get this crystal right here, I will get 10 additional max health? I am not correct in that assumption. Interesting. So maybe they just heal me a bit more even? I could go for some poison. I think that all of the attacks of our minions possibly applying poison is hopefully also included in that, because that would be nice. 4 episodes deep and I'm still not tired of it at all. That says something about the game. I still was very happy to record some of it. I still was very hyped to boot up the game again, put OBS on and start spewing bullshit into the mic. Although I must say, I would have also been satisfied with recording another small little indie horror game, because if you didn't notice, my crypt video on my channel popped off. The algorithm gods really blessed me. They laughed at me favorably. The video has more than 1,000 views, which is by far the largest public I have ever reached with something on my channel, and it gained me about 15 new subscribers in one day, which is unheard of. Really, that is just amazing. I don't want to keep the meteor shower, so I'm not going to invest my upgrades in there. Empower you and all your nearby allies. That's what we want, right? Because we're still kind of going for that minion build. Might, yeah, empower me and my allies, but I will need, or I would love some other minions as well, because by now we only have 6 and that's not enough. I would love the Chaos Golem. But yeah, it really was amazing to see that video pop up and the new views and subscribers just flowing into my channel. A new experience, something I could never even dream about normally. Of course, you always wish that every single video pops off, but it never happened so far, and this time it really did happen. I am well aware that it's probably not gonna last, that the video is gonna die down eventually, and probably some of the subscribers are also just gonna leave the channel when they figure out that I don't necessarily always produce that type of content. It's actually more of a rarity, but still, it's nice. There's definitely some people people that's gonna stick around, right? So I mean, it's a win-win. Even if it doesn't really affect my numbers, it doesn't affect the views I get on future videos, it was a nice experience for the moment. I took my first resting day from my running 100 kilometers, 100 Ks in October yesterday, because I ate a whole bunch of fries with my girlfriend in the evening and my belly was just too full to partake in any form of exercise whatsoever. And it felt nice, I guess, but I also felt kind of guilty in some way, even though the challenge that I'm doing doesn't necessarily require me to actually run each and every single day. But I was getting into the rhythm, you know, I was getting into the groove, that's for sure. But today I'm definitely gonna go out for a run again. Once my girlfriend is going to her fitness herself, fitness this dick in her mouth, haha. Yeah, then I'm gonna go for a run, because then the house can be empty, unguarded. So if you want to break in, our address is... And right now she is in class and she was updating me a bit on all the antics that were happening out there in the class, because it's a professor that I already had in my previous years. I am no longer a student, she still is. And I know that that professor had some shenanigans surrounding her sometimes. Really an eccentric figure, to put it lightly, to put it in a better spotlight, to kind of use friendly sounding words, masking that she is actually just batshit crazy. But she was going on this rant already. My girlfriend told me about how studies show that using laptops in class is worse than actually writing things down, and she was starting to forbid people from using laptops. And if you are in university and you recognize that, you know what kind of teacher she is, right? It's a specific type of academic personnel, it's a specific type of people that has those convictions. Another plague bearer, so it seems like maybe there is still just only 2 bosses in this game so far in the demo version. I thought that maybe in the other maps there would be other lords, but it seems like it's just still the plague bearer and our little ice friend. I would like my attacks to impend doom on our enemies. What is your guys' opinions on that? Do you think that using a laptop should be forbidden in class? For me personally, I think sure, you can forbid that. If it would be 1875, if it would be like 200 years ago, it's just crazy. It baffles my mind that some people think that banning laptops from class is a good idea. First of all, if you want to ban laptops from class, you want to ban personal computers from the classroom, don't teach using PowerPoint, right? Because, I mean, why would you not have the PowerPoint open and take notes underneath it if that's the exact teaching material that is being provided? Second of all, don't try to go over like 500 pages of material in every single class, because if you need to write everything down, it's impossible to keep up with that. Thirdly, third argument, if you do want everybody to stow away their laptops when your class starts, make sure that everything in your class is goddamn crystal clear. I've had to look up multiple times in multiple classes the certain definition of words or what an abbreviation stood for, because the professor just goes over it and he expects us all to know what the hell he's talking about. Third of all, if I can't use my laptop in class, you better make sure that somebody else is playing on my RuneScape account and cutting trees in the woodcutting guild all the way in Zaya, because I mean, I am not XP wasting just for the sake of your enjoyment, my man. You better believe that you have to make sure that I have the beaver pet by the end of the semester, or there will be some angry mail sent to the director of the school. Of course, I realize that some of their arguments are valid. One of the prime arguments, and something that is definitely true in my opinion, is that when you are just typing things out, you are most of the times just blindly copying what the professor is saying, what the lecturer is actually spewing out of her pie hole, or his pie hole for that matter. But when you are writing things down, you are more focused on structuring the things that you are listening to already. You are applying a structure in your summarizing notes while you are doing it, and that makes you think about the material a bit more than when you would just be blindly typing it out. And sure, I agree upon that, but you have to trust that the people that actually want to learn the material and they want to remember it will make a summary afterwards as well, where they just create that same structuring, that same kind of logical build-up of material. They will do it on their own, but they will do it later. For now, all you can do in class is just try to pick up everything, because everybody is going so fast and so much material is being glossed over so rapidly. Another argument that immediately comes to mind is, do you realize how much paper that would use and how bad for the environment and the forest that would be if every university student would just go ahead and use paper for every single class? For the last 3 or maybe 4 years in my academic career at the university, I almost went completely paperless. I tried to do so at least. A lot of the time I did everything on my laptop, even studying for my exams. And I graduated magna cum laude, so I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. In general though, my opinion on those kinds of things, it's the same with study methods, right? Research of course shows that spaced repetition and asking yourself questions, not just blindly copying all the material, is the best way to actually study new things. And it's fine. It's cool that research shows it, and people that want to use it can definitely use that, but don't oblige everybody to study in the most efficient manner. For some people, they have developed their own system over the years and it works, and that's fine. You don't always have to go with the state-of-the-art advice on how you have to do every single thing in your life, you know? And I think that university professors definitely also could take a page from that book and let students discover their own way of learning, their own way of sitting in class, their own way of looking at the material and studying it for the exams. That ties into another thing that happens in the class that this professor that sparked this conversation teaches. They record all their classes, right? They even did it in COVID. They record all their classes, but they don't put the recordings online. That's right. They record it all, but they don't put it online. What do they do with the recordings? They give it to people that can prove that they were sick with a doctor's note. And I mean, that's just unprecedented in these times. That's just an archaic practice, if you ask me. And I understand why they do it again. They, of course, don't want everybody to just stay at home and study the material at their own pace. But then again, why don't they want that? Isn't the main goal still to teach people things? And if people have their ways of doing that where they just sit at home calmly, they can pause the lecture whenever they feel the need to, let them have that. Let them have those pleasures. Let them have that ease. It's just insane. I think there's still a bunch of pride and misconceptions mixed in with the actual convictions that some of these teachers hold. But I can understand, of course, that teaching for an empty auditorium because everybody is just staying at home and looking at a lecture on their computer screen is not fun for you as well. But you're being paid a whole lot of money, my man. Just take a breather. Just take it easy. Just calm down for a second. Some of the teachers at some of the universities definitely, I think, have like this God complex. They think that they are better than their students. And in some ways, of course, they are. They are more experienced in the field and stuff, but use that to your advantage and don't use it to boast or to make our lives harder. It's the same with exercise questions for the exams. There's most of the time for most courses a bunch of exam questions of previous years lingering around online for people to practice for the exams now. And I understand that that makes it harder for the exam creators to come up with new questions. But then again, provide your own practice questions, please. In medicine, in the field of medicine and in education, there's a bunch of question banks, of course. They all have like limitless amounts of exercise questions. But in something like psychology, we don't have that at all. There are very few professors that actually put in the time and effort to create some practice questions for us, even though that's also the form that makes us remember most according to studies. So I mean, practice what you preach. If we can't use our laptops, at least also follow the other evidence, you know? I personally think that I would be quite an adequate academic professor. I still need to learn a lot to actually be enough of an expert in a field to teach a class on it. But I think that in the terms of ethics, in the terms of caring about students and making sure that the experience of college is pleasurable for everyone involved, I think I would be great at that. Especially because I can speak from my own experience, where sometimes the experience was not pleasant at all. You know what is pleasant though? This run. I'm feeling powerful. I'm wondering if there's kind of a rotation system where you can only get some abilities or some upgrades in some of your runs. Maybe it's kind of a seed thing, because I haven't seen the Chaos Golem, I haven't seen the Skeletal Mages, I haven't seen any of the other minion abilities so far. And I'm still sitting here with my level 2 meteor shower that I actually don't want. All you have to do is complain. That's my advice in life, you know? If something is not going your way, just complain. Take that with a grain of salt. Don't actually do that. Complaining is actually a very, very bad way of going about things, because it actually ties into rumination, which is kind of when you complain about things repeatedly without actually doing anything about it. It's something that happens a lot in depression and in anxiety disorders as well. And it can extend the depressive period that you are experiencing if you start ruminating about everything, because it diminishes your ability or your intention to actively partake in solving your problems. It's not the most adaptive form of coping out there. Not that it's always an option to just go ahead and solve your problems. Of course, it's not that simple. Otherwise, nobody would ever be depressed and there would be no problems in the world. But I think you can get the main gist of what I'm trying to say. That crypt video popping off has really made me look brightly into the future, you know? It's even given me some of these ideas of like, you know, maybe this YouTube thing could become a job after all. But that is extreme wishful thinking to the fullest. It's just like really, really living in a fantasy world. A nice fantasy world, though. I would love to live there. It's not about that. But I mean, you have to stay realistic. And you also have to realize that I have spent 5 years studying to be a master in clinical psychology. So I should better use that degree to its full extent. And that's why I'm starting this new YouTube series where I explain only psychological facts all the time, 24/7. No, that's not true. But not necessarily on the field of actually... That was it? That was the final lord? Oh, that was surprisingly easy. The second map completed on episode 4. Maybe the series will be 5 episodes long after all. I don't want to stretch it out too far, but that was unexpected. I wasn't paying attention. I was just completely vibing and focusing on my commentary. Well, that was a clean run. God damn. I'm really taken aback by that. I'm quite surprised. What I was trying to say before I was rudely cut off by my completion of the game is that I actually am just looking forward to the content creation even more right now, because I have some attention, I have some steam, I have a bit of a following right now, and I just can't wait for the next video to pop off, you know. But I'm still very grateful for the previous one. I'm not jumping from video to video hoping that the algorithm blesses me. No, I'm still creating these videos for my own pleasure, and even getting 10 views is pleasurable for me. You know what else is pleasurable for me? A prostate exam. I love fingers right up my asshole. Thanks a lot for watching. That's more of like a colonoscopy. But either way, I am not the person giving you medical advice. I am not a doctor. Get your asshole checked out though. Bye-bye. By a medical professional, not by Uncle Jim. Bye-bye. I should just stop talking because this is really...